One of the greatest questions of mankind has always been, do you actually need a lathe to turn wood? And yeah, maybe you do. But in this video, I'm not using a lathe to turn wood. Instead, I use a drill put upside down on a frame, and then I use the idea behind a lathe to turn some wall knobs.
What are you talking about?
I keep a box of tiny hardwood scraps because sometimes I feel like making tiny things, and it's easier for me to justify all of my mistakes when I'm using tiny scraps compared to big boards. I also like to explore things myself before looking at how other people achieve the same result in what seems to be a much easier and quicker way, which usually leaves me feeling stupid when I realize how many extra steps I had to take when not planning ahead and just trying to wing it. But as a teacher, I know that this kind of learning style can promote learning and help kids get a better understanding on how different things work. So let's pretend that I can also justify my self-taught lathe skills this way too. And this is, by the way, the first time I ever use a lathe, or something that looks like a lathe, but in reality isn't really a lathe. Just so you're aware that some of this footage might scratch your eyes a little. I started out deciding that I wanted some contrasting wood-colored wall knobs. So I took some beech and some mahogany, drilled some holes for the plastic spacers that came along with a TV wall mount a long time ago. The holes will be used as a connector between the knobs and the wall. The idea is that I want to drill a hole into the beech that can hold half of the plastic spacer, then screw the beech with the spacer onto the wall with the plastic spacer sticking out just a little bit, so the mahogany piece, which also have a hole inside it, can go on top of the spacer and that way connect to the beech part. Later, I went down a different road though. These are some test pieces to see what works and what doesn't, so no need for precision when drilling or sawing. The spacers were, as you saw earlier, 11.85 millimeters thick, and I only have a 12 millimeter and an 11.5 millimeter drill bit, so I filed the spacers down just a little bit so they didn't sit too tight in the wood and potentially ending up splitting the wood later on when I installed them inside. Preben the cat just can't stay away from the workshop when I'm in here. It's really great having company, but sometimes it feels like there is a bigger need of attention compared to what I can deliver, and that truly is a sad love story. Maybe there's even some karma to it. Let's just say that it was a wise decision not storing any anvils or other heavy objects up there.
I didn't hurt you, did I?
Now I wanted to make the wall knobs round, and this drill was just not cutting it. So now is actually the moment we all have been waiting for, the lathe moment. And yes, I am wearing safety glasses. I don't trust this machine either, so better be safe, right? And right away I bent the bolt I used for the knobs, and because of that I didn't end up following my first plan of the contrasting wall knobs. So instead I just installed a new bolt in the drill, put the plastic spacer on it and then the wall knobs on top of it. I then started turning some test pieces. The oak didn't turn out that well. It had a lot of rough edges and overall it didn't look that good. Then I tried some mahogany and it did end up better, but I was a bit too impatient and I took it off a bit too early when it still needed some sanding. Then I wanted to try some beech, but I split it right away, causing my second knob mess up. So a new piece of beech was made and that turned out better. With that in mind, I decided that I wanted to try the oak again, and since I am both a bit lazy and stupid at the same time, I thought that chiseling could be a very clever way of splitting it evenly.
How many brain cells do I have?
And I messed up a third time.
None. Zero.
Luckily, there were 2 holes in this block, so I had the opportunity to mess it up a 4th time. So what did I learn? More oak, obviously. So that I did. I used some oak again, and this time it ended differently. It ended differently because I finished it before I noticed that I messed up a 5th time.
You pull that crap one more time, you're disqualified.
Then I took some beach because I was getting too tired of all of my oak episodes. And that did not change anything. I was too aggressive with the chisels, so that makes 6 mess-ups. But you know what they say. 7th time is the time when stupid people also start to achieve something, I guess. After successfully succeeding in ruining 6 walnuts already, I wanted to try some ashwood, and oh my, that turns like a charm. It's like working with butter compared to the oak and the beech. And I knew from this point that ash would probably be the best wood to make the walnuts out of, so I started to be more precise when making the knobs. How many subscribers a YouTube channel has doesn't really say much in YouTube these days. But for us small channels, it really does. Because we can start earning money when hitting 1,000 subscribers, which potentially ends up in a solid income so we can produce even more videos for you guys. So if you like watching videos from a small YouTube channel, maybe consider subscribing to that channel. It would probably help them a lot. It certainly would for me. Thanks. At some point, I want to learn how to use a lathe, and a real lathe, of course, not this kind of lathe. So maybe in the future, I will go ahead and buy one if I ever have enough space in the workshop, and then I will learn the proper technique behind it. Because I couldn't help myself but to actually try using a turning iron, or a turning chisel. I think they're actually called turning chisels. And yeah, remember, this is my first time ever trying a lathe, so feel free to mock my insane lathe skills in the comments. Since they will go in the kitchen, I decided that a spray lacquer would be a good finish because of durability. And after a day or two, I took them inside and pretended to be my girlfriend, since she is the one who decides where stuff goes. Then I roughly placed the oven mittens that's supposed to hang on the knobs and estimated the right place to put them. Then I drilled some holes, put in some wall plugs and a bit of caulking just to prevent any potential mortar dust from escaping the hole. Then on with the knobs and gently hit them with a rubber padded hammer before revealing the final shot. If you managed to stick around all the way till the end, thanks a lot. And maybe, like I said earlier, consider subscribing to a small YouTube channel so I can hit 1,000 subscribers. Not literally though. My goal is to one day make a living out of this, and hopefully one day I can. So even though this video was a weird one, I hope you enjoyed watching it anyway. Bye.